Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Schmoes Show. I am Mr. Ryan, and I am a Schmo.
And I'm Cairo, and I'm a Schmo.
And we're going to try keeping this energy up the whole time. Am I right, Cairo?
We'll see how it goes. I am tired. I am very tired.
Dude, I've slept a collective, near 20 hours this weekend. I feel that.
Mm-hmm. I have been doing a lot of exercise. I'm curious what it is after today. I've biked 5.5 hours this week.
God damn, Cairo.
72 miles. So my legs are very jello-y.
Fair. Do you bike on any specific trails in the area or anything like that?
Yeah. There's a really nice trail about half mile from my apartment that runs about it's like 4 miles each direction, so I can just go back and forth on that a couple of times. It's basically as much time as I have. Yeah.
For myself, I'm coming to the realization I need to work out a little bit more because I'm slowing down my workout regime and I don't like it. So I'm trying to do a lot of at-home exercises when I'm on break from work because that's one of the benefits of working from home.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to squeeze in 3 sets of 33 sit-ups and then 3 sets of 25 push-ups every day. Just a little, nothing too extravagant. Enough that I don't go to work as a sweaty mess for my meetings.
Where to start for today, though? I feel like there's not a ton of news, but there's been enough that happened that we should probably talk about with the DNC.
Not gonna lie, I don't know how I feel about the DNC this year.
I was gonna say I feel like it's better than last year, but how many people actually watched it last 4 years ago?
No one, because they couldn't barely have one. It was COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the thing I was realizing. As I'm watching the DNC this year, I watched a little bit of the RNC, but the DNC seemed like a more grand spectacle this year. I wonder why. One, more energy than the RNC. The RNC felt like an old folks presentation where they have someone's nephew come in and play guitar for them on the weekend.
It's like they let a 78-year-old get up on stage and ramble for 4 hours or something.
Oh my fucking god, dude. It was not good.
Yeah.
And I'm not even speaking politically. I'm just saying in terms of an actual platform, an actual convention to give your political ideas out, you did not supply DNC, and
Nope.
I expect better from you. God damn.
I don't know.
What's that?
I feel like they did. It's all relative, right? They're obviously because the Republican platform is the absence of any platform. It's all entirely built up on emotions at this point. So I can appreciate from a strategy perspective doubling down on beating them at their own game now that they can do that, and also having a little bit of policy as a treat.
A little bit of policy. I've come to realize that the ultimate flaw of the two-party system, in my opinion now, is that eventually with 2 parties, there's going to be no parties. Because the RNC, as far as I've gathered, is just a whole bunch of libertarians mixed in with some Republicans, that it's ultimately lost the Republican identity. And with a lot of the DNC, to a lesser extent, it's a lot of very left-leaning progressives mixed in with Democrats. And that is also polluting the identity of the party. But at least they have Kamala there to usher them in to keep that solid identity still in from a career politician, as opposed to a golf club owner.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Quick aside.
Yo.
What the fuck is wrong with USA Today's website?
Fuck. Let me find out.
I was trying to click through on that link that you sent me about Dana Nessel, and their website's so bad.
Is it? Oh my god.
Yeah, so they have this is just ongoing symptom of everything being designed to be done on smartphones instead of actual computers.
Mm-hmm.
And it has literally 2/3 of their entire website is blank. Probably because I have an ad block turned on and it's not showing me all of their aggressively intrusive ads. But if you click anywhere in these giant blank spaces, it closes the article and takes you back to their homepage.
That's hilarious. Damn.
They literally looked at Reddit's shitty desktop UI and said, you know what? We want that.
We are going back. Yeah, I'm pulling it up on my phone. It's not much better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have ad block on my phone, but like it doesn't read well. You ever feel that like fucking here's a little thing I've come to realize. I think most people when they're writing content for websites or fucking writing in general, they're doing it on like a proper desktop. And then like the moment you get them onto a phone, it doesn't flow as well because you have more space on a desktop, and then when you get it on your phone, it's like more crunched up, and then there's like it just you know what I mean though, right? Like the real estate of like the page itself is just different.
Yeah, in my mind, it's just peak cheap business practices that they don't do both anymore. Because that used to be the norm, is that if you're making a website, you would have one version of it that loaded for desktops and a separate, different version that would load for smartphones, and they'd be optimized for each of those experiences separately.
Honestly, an AI might be a good choice for formatting that kind of shit. I said maybe.
Could be.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good. Let me see if I can pull it up for a little bit later. But there are some doozies on AI stuff happening this week. Not good things, to be clear.
Oh, fuck ye.
There's one really funny one where a bunch of researchers were trying to design a sort of like AI-powered scientist tool that they could give basically research projects to and have it using methodology both work through and record its workings in doing that. Except it went very off the rails when they gave it a project that they said had to be done within 2 hours. And rather than figuring out a better way to do the project, it rewrote its program that encoded like its parameters for the project that it was supposed to be doing to just give itself more time.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is some grad student bullshit right there. I will live with that. What's up?
Some other news, though. Did you hear about the Telegram CEO?
The guy that got arrested?
Yeah, arrested in France.
Sacre bleu.
Reading about this, I'm kind of surprised this hasn't happened sooner. Apparently, Telegram has been refusing to comply, at least in France, with investigations that law enforcement is trying to conduct related to drug trafficking, child sexual content, and fraud.
Oh, it's an Andrew Tate job.
Yeah, basically.
God damn it. Well, that's no good. So have they tried apologizing? Oh.
Yeah.
If you apologize legally, they can't do anything to you. What were you godding, Kyril?
The worst people that you can imagine are speaking out in support of Pavel. Elon Musk,
surprising.
of course.
Yeah.
just like complete straw man arguments. He like, I don't understand. I do understand actually, because he's built an entire cult of personality in all of his companies. I don't understand how his shareholders even pretend to be interested in investing in his companies for money. And I guess we've seen this week that they're not.
Yeah.
But he this is the CEO of multiple major companies saying it's 2030 in Europe and you're being executed for liking a meme. No, you're not. That is not what's happening. If you're trying to equate liking a meme to people trafficking in child pornography, you're a fucking idiot.
Kyril, you need to understand our rights are at stake.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to finish that straw man argument.
Edward Snowden, who's been living in exile in Russia since 2013, said that Durov's arrest was an assault on the basic human rights of speech and association, which, no, it's not. Don't traffic drugs, enable people to traffic drugs, etc., and you're fine. It's like, you can still meet up with people. You can't meet up with people to trade illegal things. That's pretty well established at this point.
It's always a violation of rights when it's their people that do it.
Of course it is.
Yeah, dude. Tomorrow it could be me.
So yeah, Elon Musk's backers. Sorry, I guess it's more accurate to say X-Cor's backers.
What was even their plan with this? Because, like...
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I have to imagine a not insubstantial part of it for a number of them is that allowing Twitter to be less useful, especially as it relates to Middle Eastern government financial interests, is directly beneficial to them for being able to suppress dissent.
Yo, that's probably right. So are we going to like touch on some of the bigger names in the document that was released?
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely can.
Fun on a fucking bun. Sorry, I'm getting the list. I know we put it in here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. While we're pulling up the list, Elon Musk does not know his fucking Greek literature.
Which is, the least surprising thing.
Why is it always, right? These right-wing nut jobs always go to the Greek literature shit, right?
Mm-hmm. Ritfern.
So with these investors, right? Aren't these the ones that are suing Musk for like malpractice on the investment?
I'm not sure. Let me double check.
Yeah, because I feel like I know that was a thing.
This may have, because it does look like it's a part of a lawsuit that's being filed, but I believe this is not the list of shareholders who are suing, but just the list of all owners and shareholders of X Corp.
God damn. Jack Dorsey, I see you in there. How you doing, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
I know you're listening to the podcast. I mean, okay. To Jack's credit, I don't know how much he was anticipating Elon to change this shit. But he knows Twitter is a viable income source, so it kind of makes sense there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's honestly not. It's just skimming through the list. Pretty unsurprising to see.
Yeah.
There's really the two big names, Jack Dorsey and Sean Combs, P. Diddy. The rest of it is overwhelmingly financial institutions, likely investing on others' behalfs, but you can't see whose that actually is.
So sad.
The whole like venture capital in Silicon Valley is just such a scourge.
Isn't it? Like, if I could have destroyed it off the face of the planet, I would.
I saw them talking about this Friday on the WAN show, but the company Peloton, who makes the how do I call it, like treadmills, the
little stationary
bikes that are very expensive. Did you know that they have stores?
They have stores?
They have many stores. Let me see if I can actually find this. Where the nearest one is. So the nearest ones to us would be over in Illinois.
Damn.
Chicago area. But there's 2 of them.
I'm going to be there next week.
And where they have these stores, they're fucking massive. Like, they have cafes built into them. Massive.
Why?
It's a good question. It really doesn't make sense. They were in the news this week because they announced that if you buy a used Peloton, let me find the actual thing here. There is an activation fee that they were adding to it. So yeah, the used equipment activation fee is now going to cost $95.
Mother.
So if you buy a used one, you have to spend another $100 after to actually use it.
Okay, let me see how much a used Peloton cost.
They're super cheap. Because,
yeah, you know what?
It's like all exercise equipment, right? People with too much money buy things that they don't actually intend to use, and then it starts taking up space, and they need to get rid of it, and they don't actually care because they have too much money, so they throw it on eBay, and nobody else wants it because it's generally kind of a bad product.
Yeah. Like, you're a biker. You know, Mr. Chiral, how do you feel about these stationary kind of bikes?
They have a place. But for me personally, I don't understand the idea of needing, like, what would it be, like spin cycling type classes in those kinds of settings. I don't get that. It's like, just do the thing and do it as aggressively as you safely can, and good job, you're doing the thing. You don't need some person making $80 an hour to yell at you to do the thing more. But that's apparently a big part of Peloton's services, is that you can get like literally one-on-one training things, which I don't get. The idea of stationary cycling at all is, I think, fine, especially in, our climate where 6-7 months out of the year it's not suitable for being outside doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever see like the Peloton commercial where they offered the David Bowie class?
Don't think so.
Dude, it was like a fucking do a Peloton session to the music of David Bowie. And I'm like, so you don't want to use Spotify?
Right.
Like, why would I need a fucking class to just play David Bowie's greatest hits?
Well, you know how much their monthly subscription is?
How much?
Do you want to take a guess?
I'm guessing $98 a month.
Not that bad, thankfully.
Okay.
It's only $44.
Dude, I have the fucking premium subscription at Planet Fitness, and it's half that.
Yeah, I do not understand. And I don't understand it. I don't. I find it very hard to believe that it makes financial sense, but that tends to be the case with all tech adjacent to fitness, right? I use Strava to track my biking when I'm out doing that, and it is literally free if all you want to do is track your mileage and time, which is all I really care about. But they have a whole bunch of other stuff, like leaderboards and shit, that you can compare yourself to other people with. But if you want to do that, you have to pay, like, let me double check what it is. Way too much.
You gotta pay to enter the competitive competition scene right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12. Sorry, I think that's old. Well, $12 a month for an app. That's what I pay for fucking YouTube Premium. not going to give these people $12. Like think about it in terms of like hours, right?
Yeah.
This week, I logged my best week. We were talking about this earlier. I did my best week of biking. And I did just over 5 hours. Most weeks, I'm closer to like 2 or 3. So, absolute maximum in a month, I'm hitting 20 hours of use compared to YouTube, where I'm spending the same amount and using it probably 2 or 3 times that amount.
I love it.
It's like, what are they doing? Makes no sense.
Dude, you know what this is an appeal to, right? It's for like the fucking egomaniacs that are like super into fitness.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe it. But Peloton was also in the news because they are losing massive amounts of money. And I'm sure it's not because they took a bunch of really risky venture capital loans early on in their business's history, and they're desperate to try and make that money back. So they're doing shit like charging used equipment activation fees. Never mind that they already got the money from selling the fucking thing once, and they're getting more money from charging a monthly subscription to use the thing that you already paid for. But they've also decided to open massive complexes in major metropolitan areas that I'm sure are very reasonably priced.
Oh, I'm almost certain. You know how it is with them. They're only out there for like the little guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is about your fitness at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let Peloton get in the middle of that.
Oh yeah, this was another good one. Let me see if I can find an actual story for this. Just skimming through the couple of AI things that I saw this week. There is a AI chat like service bot company called Lindy that makes the like integrated chat function for websites to use as like customer support kind of stuff.
Okay.
Their AI tool has been found to be literally rickrolling people trying when it gives advice to them, where it will try to link a YouTube video to a thing that doesn't exist, but the link itself actually goes to Rick Astley.
That's what you fucking deserve for like using the internet as like a base.
Yep.
Yeah. You fucking
This is exactly
that.
what you get when you scrape Reddit for your AI.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Last one. This is a pretty cool one. Good job. Like, DOJ, Biden administration, knocking it out of the park this week. Telecom company, what's it called? Lingo Telecom, operating out of Texas, has agreed to pay a $1 million fine for its role in a deepfake robocall impersonating President Joe Biden's voice ahead of the New Hampshire Democratic primary. The telecom company provides a voice service that distributed the artificial intelligence-generated robocalls through spoofed phone numbers, has agreed to the 7-figure penalty, and agreed to stricter oversight protocols. In addition, the initiator of the deepfake calls has been charged with, I believe, where'd it go? A $6 million fine, as well as 26 criminal counts, including 13 felonies for voter intimidation and impersonating officials.
Good.
Yeah, this is just like lowest of the low kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This was a guy literally impersonating the sitting president to try and discourage people from voting in the primary.
I love it when that happens. Did you vote in the primary?
Yeah, I believe so. There wasn't a ton on the ballot, but I did technically.
Yeah. Love it.
The other bit of DOJ news is that they have officially launched a lawsuit against RealPage for their algorithmic pricing scheme that is causing rent prices to skyrocket.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Wish I could find it again. I was trying to find it earlier and I've just lost it. Maybe I did have it. One sec. Gonna check my saved Reddit posts to see if it ended up there. Oh, that's not the right tab. Oh, yes, we will get into this in a second, though, because this is also very important and kind of half of the problem. But yeah, RealPage they built what can only be called. They tried to hide behind it as some black box AI algorithm thing setting prices, so it's not, intent or whatever. But the DOJ obviously thinks they have a solid enough case that they've said, no, we're going to sue you anyways. But yeah, they were basically racketeering, I think would be a fair way of saying it, to cause rental prices to go up across the board.
That sounds like racketeering.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good old price fixing. On a somewhat related note, though, we got some details, just talking about policy from the Democrats, right? We got some details this week about what Kamala Harris's housing plan, should she be elected to president, and obviously have control over Congress to enact it, but some details as to what her intentions are in that area. And it's pretty cool. This is largely going to be part of an op-ed, I can wait for it to load here, published by Jim Parrott in Fortune.com, talking about Kamala Harris's housing plan. Yeah. I highly recommend reading the entirety of it because it is not particularly long, but it is very effective at laying out what's all going to be happening. So, hitting some of the highlights. This is talking about differences in pricing of housing immediately before the pandemic compared to today. So like 2019, early 2020 versus 2024 today. Rents across the board have increased about 20%, forcing more than half of all renters to spend more than 30% of their monthly income on rent, the highest number ever recorded. Home prices are up 50% and mortgage rates almost 100%. The monthly payment for a median-priced house has more than doubled from $1,000 to $2,250. A home that was affordable only a few years ago is now well out of reach. So, what is the Harris administration's proposed plan for doing with this? From the op-ed, at the heart of the housing proposal released last week by Vice President Kamala Harris, which lays out a set of tax breaks with which the numbers for building affordable housing would finally pencil out. To incentivize building affordable rental housing, Harris would expand a tax break for developers known as the Low Income Housing Tax Credit. LIHTC has been a critical source of financing for affordable rental housing for almost 40 years. While it is not perfect, not all of the subsidy goes into units that would not have been built otherwise. It has broad political support and can be scaled up quickly and distributes the tax rate equitably nationally. Harris also proposes creating a comparable tax break for builders to address the shortfall in affordable homes for purchase. Policymakers have largely ignored the shortfall, focusing instead on demand-side support for home ownership that alone would do little to help in a supply-constrained market such as the one we have today. Under the new proposal, home builders would get a tax break on profits made from homes built and sold to first-time home buyers. As with LITHC, this would increase the returns for builders and developers to focus on the lower income side of the market. Finally, Harris proposes a new tax credit for renovating homes that can't be sold for enough to cover the cost of repairing them. This would help bring to the market homes long languishing in neighborhoods that have fallen into disrepair.
Yo, I like that renovation credit. Only because I've been seeing insurance fraud where people will buy like just terrible houses, put them under one address, say, hey, this is the correct address. Can you just change it on your side? So we're pretty much we're told we're insuring one house, but we're getting another house instead. And then they start filing a whole bunch of claims to get free renovations out of the house.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a real problem right now. I fucking caught a couple people doing it.
That sucks. The other half of, I guess not the other half, the other, the other side of the coin, right?
Yeah.
Is that these proposals would be very expensive. Based on Harris's proposal, there would be an estimated cost of $125 billion that would obviously have to be paid by either spending by having spending cuts in other places or increasing taxes. Presumably, portions of this would be related to the proposed increases on taxes that the Harris administration is also planning for top earners. But yeah, even if this only would be put into effect partially, I think it would very obviously have real impact. And the idea of new low-income housing languishing right now is a major one that's definitely been not addressed by almost anyone, right?
Yeah.
It's very easy to go around in the, pick a town, right? Pick a metro area and see all these massive $500,000, $1 million houses being built everywhere. And if you're a developer, just because capitalism, right? Yeah. It's very easy to see why you would target building those houses so aggressively, because there are so much greater profit motives to be made off of them.
Well, even then, like, it's a better investment. And, like, when you think about it, for, like, banks to also loan out money to construct these homes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really fucking sad, in my opinion. Because, like, these are, like, not even half the population can buy these homes, and that's what is the safest investment. Yeah.
Or if you are somebody who's trying to, you end up being priced into a mortgage that you barely can afford.
Oh, hell yeah.
No. I do find it really fascinating that, especially in the southern area of the state where I am, we have the Calhaven Trail, a really nice biking and hiking trail that goes from Kalamazoo to South Haven.
Okay.
And the vast majority of the land in the immediate area around it is farm fields. It seems like the prime kind of area to start working into being, small towns, right?
Yeah.
You have basically a gigantic public park, or at the very least access to whatever other small towns parks you want by bicycle, which is pretty much free if you have a bike. You don't have to pay for gas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tons of land. And it's just all either undeveloped or developed for agriculture based on the historical norms. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Kamala. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. All right. I want to talk really, really quickly about new video game release, Black Myth Wukong.
Oh, shit. Yeah. We were talking about this at work. Go on.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not actually going to be talking about the video game itself, to be clear. Because, I'll be honest, I don't really care.
I don't care.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't care. What I find is really interesting is how massively, or I guess seemingly successful it is right now on Steam.
Okay.
Bit of background. Black Myth Wukong. What is the name of the publisher? It's interesting. This doesn't actually say. I'm just going to pull up Steam real quick and I'll figure it out. Because it's like the #1 played game right now. So it should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
So, who actually is the developer? Game Science. Who the hell? They've literally have nothing else listed on Steam.
Game Science Wikipedia page. You can go on.
Yep. So, Chinese developer, Chinese game based on a 16th century Chinese novel, Journey to the West. Very well known. But Black Myth itself, which is positioned as kind of a Dark Souls-like game, is doing exceptionally well at release. And regardless of all the other stuff, I do think that there is a fascinating element to this that we have been seeing in the film industry as it relates to Chinese influence and how overwhelmingly financially successful, positive Chinese influence is in the Chinese market.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be interesting to see if that continues into pervading into the video game space. And it's the kind of thing that's like not necessarily bad, but there are plenty of examples that can be pulled up of how mediocre the product that it produces can end up being.
I will say this, right? Like, I have nothing against this game.
Yeah.
The one thing that I've always found very off-settling about it is just the aesthetic. Because, like, I feel like it just looks like Final Fantasy to me. Like, you know?
Kind of.
Yeah.
So here's my quintessential mid, overwhelmingly Chinese influenced movie. Dwayne Johnson, Skyscraper.
It's a Dwayne Johnson Skyscraper? Or is it Dwayne Johnson in Skyscraper?
Dwayne Johnson in Skyscraper.
That's a terrible name for a movie.
Yep. It made $300 million.
Why?
Because it is set. It's like the most stereotypical action hero type movie. You know, think your Die Hard type fare.
Mm-hmm.
With Dwayne Johnson, who is, you know, obviously very popular internationally, set in China.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Fuck it. I get it.
Good old legendary entertainment. This is just kind of a coincidence. I had this come up in my YouTube feed the last couple of days. Another good example of it is the difference between, was it Pacific Rim and the sequel? What's the sequel called? I can never remember the name of the sequel. I don't care. Pacific Rim and the sequel. Yeah. In the time between them, Legendary took over the licensing for it. And would you know, major Chinese influence that suddenly came about in the second film that was completely absent from the first when it was under the purview of Del Toro.
That doesn't surprise me.
No. Apparently they're making a Pacific Rim 3.
Is Del Toro involved?
No shot. All right, well, maybe we'll go down this rabbit hole a little bit. I highly doubt it. Pacific Rim Cataclysm 2025. Possibly fake. I don't care enough to look into it. What I do care more to look into it, though, is this is a good one. 2013 was when Pacific Rim was released. In the same year, we got Atlantic Rim.
Oh yeah, I remember you.
Would you like to see a still from it?
Please. It's been a while since I've heard from Atlantic Rim. Yeah, that's the good shit right there.
It's beautiful.
That looks like it's just ripped out of Sonic Sonic Adventure.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, a very poor quality knockoff. Has a 1.6 on IMDb. That is exceptional. I can't remember the last time I saw an IMDb score that low.
Honestly, I don't know. Try Last of the Jedi.
Oh, I doubt it. Oh, yeah. Amazing. On there, more like this, it has a bunch of other B movies.
Good.
So, there's one that's just called Metal Man. That's very obviously Iron Man, like the first one, ripoff. Yeah. Transmorphers, a classic.
Yeah. The Incredible Bulk.
Rise of the Black Bat. I can only describe this cover as Ben Affleck Batman, but he has a gun.
Ben Affleck Batman had a gun. E-I-E-I-O.
I'll send you this. Is it really not going to just let me copy the picture? Screen snip to the rescue once again. Modern internet sucks.
It does. Oh my god. No, that's Sin City.
Yeah. It's just like a complete mashup of like 3 or 4 different other better movies.
Oh my fucking god, that's so bad.
Mm-hmm. I have to imagine that they know it's that bad, but I guess you never know for sure, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to get into the Marvel stuff?
There's Marvel stuff today?
Kind of.
Oh
I
no.
mean, we know what Robert Downey Jr.'s paycheck is going to be, so we know why he went into this show.
Robert Downey Jr. is going to buy an island.
He's on track.
How much is Robert Downey Jr. getting paid?
I'm curious. Do they have like an article for this? No, it's just Twitter. 95 million allegedly.
God fucking damn it.
Oh, here we go. Variety has confirmed it.
That is $30 million less than it took to make monster trucks.
That's wild. 80 million for the Russo brothers for both Doomsday and Secret Wars. So that makes a little bit more sense given that this is across both films. But that is still a ridiculous amount of money.
Can I have some money?
According to a knowledgeable source, so pulling it out of their ass, Robert Downey Jr. is by far the highest paid member of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and has earned somewhere between 500 and 600 million over the course of the 4 Avengers movies, 3 Iron Man outings, and cameos in various other films.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at movies that are cheaper than Robert Downey Jr.'s paycheck.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There are a lot of movies, and they're mainly like kids' movies, but still, that's fucked up.
The main point of reference that was in the piece that you linked me was that this is less than the current Alien film that's in theaters right now. So you can pay $95 million to have Robert Downey Jr. be in 2 movies, or you can pay $80 million to have an entire Alien film.
Robert Downey Jr., right, is getting paid more than fucking The Time Traveler's Wife, Revolutionary Road, and Mank all combined.
I'm doing a quick inflation check here because I am very curious. I was going to look up the... Wow. So if you were to make the original Alien film, 1979, today, the budget would only have been $50 million.
Damn.
And its earnings would have been $850 million.
I'm checking something real quick. I want to see how many Citizen Kanes you can make with Robert Downey Jr.'s paycheck. So first we're going to take the budget of Citizen Kane, right?
Yeah.
$839,727.
Which year was that?
That is 1941.
41?
Yep. So we got to adjust that for inflation.
839?
839,727.
727. All right. Just having it left in January because whatever. $839,000 in 1941 money would be the equivalent of $18.7 million today.
Now we're going to divide that by 95.
So yeah, 95 divided by 18.7.
Yeah.
18.7. You could make 5
You can make 5 fucking Citizen Kanes for the price it takes to hire Robert Downey fucking Jr.
Yeah. Here's another one I'm going to look up. I bet this one might be cheaper.
So
No, it's about the same. So you could make 2 Citizen Kanes and 2 Casablancas.
That's
and
hilarious.
Still have about $20 million left over for like the biggest fucking party imaginable.
Robert Downey Jr. better fucking fund the cast party at the end.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't get it. It's so vapid. It's like they know that they're going to make $1 billion off of this. They don't care.
That's just good investment, you know?
I don't know. Feels like peak middle manager syndrome, right? It's like the Russo brothers got told, all right, you're going to have a budget of about $800 million between the 2 films. We're expecting to make about $2 billion back. And they said, okay, we're going to use every single dollar of that. Hey,
Robert. Okay.
I do think that's going to be a very interesting statistic to see once we get the budgets between the both of them. Because if 10% of their budget goes towards retaining one guy, why? What is the point at that point? These better be the best goddamn Marvel movies in the last decade.
The Shawshank Redemption, right?
Yeah.
How much money do you think it made in the box office?
God. What year is this?
1994.
94? 160 million.
No, 73.3 million.
Okay.
Now we're going to adjust that for inflation. So that's going to be okay. I got really worried for a second, but it looks like we're out in the clear. I thought Robert Downey Jr. was going to make more money than the entire Shawshank Redemption. No. Shawshank today would be about 154 million.
So I guess that's another we can check for Citizens Kane's box office. Though that is... Oh, so they don't have numbers for it. Makes sense. It was a long time ago.
It was a little too long ago.
Yeah.
One thing I'm very curious about.
Details for its re-release, and it's still made a profit on that.
I looked up the original Iron Man to see if Robert Downey Jr. was getting paid more than the original budget for Iron Man. He is not. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness.
Interesting. How close is it?
Not that close. Especially when you throw in inflation. It was like 130, 140.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably close to 200 now.
Holy fuck, that movie made a lot of money, though.
Yeah, it did. For the first one? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, holy fuck, we kind of forget how big Iron Man was.
Yeah, it was a sensation.
Yeah. Look where we are today. We would not be here today if it weren't for this fucking movie.
Last piece I have for today, wrapping up the movie stuff. Only one real release to talk about, and that is Strange Darling. What do you? I genuinely hadn't heard of this before. Mystery and thriller / horror. This is actually, I like this. Full props to whoever made this Rotten Tomatoes page. The synopsis is one sentence. In Strange Darling, nothing is what it seems when a twisted one-night stand spirals into a serial killer's vicious murder spree.
Okay.
So I had not heard about this prior to this. It's at 96% with 82 critic reviews. Overwhelmingly positive. The little Rotten Tomatoes critic consensus is that it delivers a thrillingly unexpected and electric ride with 2 breakout performances by Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner.
Huh.
So, yeah. Might go and see this. We have a review that I need to watch still, which was the first that I had ever heard about it, was seeing the headline of the review and being like, huh, that's neat. I hadn't heard of that. I wonder what it's about. I'm curious, though. Oh, I love this. Do you want to take a guess what its budget is?
Could Robert Downey Jr. be hired for less than it?
Absolutely not.
Oh, God. Okay, go on.
4 million.
Damn, dude.
So it was a film festival release back in September of last year that is now getting a wider release now.
Here's something for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know we're kind of shitting on Robert Downey Jr. for getting paid a lot. However, I just pulled up a list of the highest paid actors for a single production.
Oh, yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah, like Robert Downey Jr. is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He would be 7th on the list with his newest paycheck.
Yeah. And I imagine that doesn't count film. Or not film, TV.
Yeah, it doesn't count TV.
Because TV gets ridiculous.
Does it?
Oh yeah, let me see if I can find what there's like a couple of really notable ones, but sitcoms in particular. So one of the big ones that I remember always hearing about, the cast of Friends negotiated a $1 million per person per episode agreement.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Apparently, Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer were offered more, but agreed to a pay cut so that everybody could receive the same pay per episode.
Huh. So I'm on the list of highest grossing actors of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if we're talking about lead roles, Samuel L. Jackson apparently gets like number 1. But if we're talking about of all type of performances, who do you think's number 1?
I genuinely don't know.
Motherfucking Stan Lee.
Really?
Yes.
Hell
he
yeah.
beats Samuel L. Jackson by like over 10%.
Nice.
Excelsior, true believers. On average, making $612,031. No, that's million. My apologies. I'm fucked up. $612 million on an appearance. But that's only because Stanley was in Endgame. So that kind of inflates his numbers by a fucking lot.
I don't know how accurate this is, but I don't know. This seems inaccurate. This can't be it. Wikipedia has Robert Downey Jr. listed as the highest single production salary for Civil War, but that can't be right.
No way. It's going to change here soon anyway.
Yep.
Imagine Robert Downey Jr. gets paid more in someone else's movie.
Scroll to the bottom. Apparently, Tom Cruise was paid over $100 million for Top Gun Maverick.
A movie I never even seen.
It is unapologetically American propaganda, but it's pretty good American propaganda, I'll be honest.
That's funny.
Man, that's wild. Tom Cruise taking 2 of the top 4 spots for highest paid actor per film is pretty wild.
He must have one. Imagine if he and Robert Downey Jr. have the same agent.
Shit, Sandra Bullock made $70 million for Gravity.
I never.
She made out really good for that. $20 million upfront, but then an additional 15% of box office revenue.
Ooh, that's good.
That's wild.
Sandra, I salute you. That's some haggling.
Yeah. Whoever her agent is got a big cut, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure 8% of that 15% goes to the agent.
Mm-hmm. What's this? This is a good list. No idea how accurate it is, but Business Insider has like a top, I think it's 29 or something like that.
Okay.
And it's got some fun facts in here. Number 12, Jack Nicholson's Batman as Joker.
Really?
Nicholson was only paid $6 million up front for his role as Joker in 1989's Batman, but he reportedly secured a lucrative deal that included both box office earnings and merchandise sales, including its sequels that he didn't even appear in.
So his estate's been making bank this whole time.
Yeah. And it's going to keep doing it.
That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about leaving your loved ones with a legacy.
A lot of this isn't too surprising, but every once in a while, like apparently, do you want to guess what Dwayne Johnson's highest paid role is?
Jumanji 2.
Nope.
What is it?
Amazon's Red One. Paid him $50 million for it.
I'm about to blow my head off. That's stupid.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. There are starving children in this world.
Yeah. I guess to be clear, also, a lot of these aren't adjusted for inflation.
You're going to make me lash out here.
Wow. DiCaprio earned over $50 million from Inception because he took a very low upfront pay, but massive box office cut for his role in it.
I mean, okay, Leo should know better than anybody how well that movie was going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't Inception Scorsese? No, that was Nolan.
It was Nolan, yeah.
Yeah. Nolan and DiCaprio together, that just sells tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. That should be considered...
He also made a shitload of money on the Scorsese one, Killers of the Flower Moon.
I still need to see that. Looks really good. I'm curious. Are the Russo brothers going to now be like some of the highest paid directors of all time?
Oh, I doubt it.
No.
I mean, they're obviously, I bet they probably hit top 10, but not top 5.
Yeah. Like, I think the Russo brothers are genuinely talented.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
Don't know if they're going to ever, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Get up there with the auteurs.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Because they're not really.
No, they're like... And I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm just a fucking ass. But they're like... They're popcorn. They're, you know... They know how to please an audience.
Absolutely.
And that's better, in my opinion, you know? At least they get stable work. I'd rather have a Russo brother movie than a Michael Bay movie any day.
Well, speak of the devil.
Motherfucker.
I don't know how we didn't... Well, I guess I know how we didn't talk about it, because what year was this? 2019, so we probably just missed it when we were on hiatus. But there is a movie called Six Underground. Straight to Netflix affair. has Ryan Reynolds playing the lead, directed by Michael Bay. It is Reynolds' highest paid position at $27 million.
Weird, dude.
The movie has a reception of 36% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's weird.
I'm going to look up another one here, and I bet fascinating. Exactly the same percentage. Also, 36%. Was this the same time period, I wonder? March of 2020, so basically. Mark Wahlberg's Spencer Confidential, also straight to Netflix. They paid him $30 million for the role. Netflix also claims it is their third biggest movie of all time upon release, with 85 million households having watched it in the first month of its release.
Apparently the Russo brothers are doing a movie based off a graphic novel called Electric State. You ready for how stacked this cast is?
Go for it. I haven't heard about this at all.
Yeah. Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, Chris Pratt, Ke Kwan, Stanley Tucci, Jason Alexander, Brian Cox, Jenny Slate, Giancarlo Esposito, Anthony Mackie, and Billy Bob Thornton.
Wild.
That is a wild cast. It's like an assemble, like a whole bunch of Avengers almost assembling.
Last piece I have for today is an update that Rotten Tomatoes put out about their tomato meter and their new popcorn meter.
What's so great about it?
Remains to be seen. I don't immediately hate the decisions that they've made here, but let's go through them. So, so what they're claiming is the big change, that's actually kind of a nothing at all, is that rather than just having a percent for audience scores, they're now calling that the popcorn meter, and allows for a film to become verified hot if it has a 90% or higher audience score, as well as meeting an additional set of eligibility requirements. And then it will only lose that verified badge if it drops below 80% following that. They said this is going to be put into effect for all movies that have been released since May of 2019 that qualify. I'm curious about, let's see, how do they qualify the popcorn meter? Popcorn meter, which captures an audience sentiment, is represented by a popcorn bucket. It indicates the percentage of fans who have rated a movie or TV show positively. When we can verify users have bought a ticket to a film, the default score shown is composed of verified ratings. For all other titles, we display an all score that includes ratings for people regardless of whether or not we can verify whether they have seen the movie. Titles displaying verified ratings also have an all score. To view it, simply click on the popcorn bucket and you can toggle between the two. So what they'll have is a 60%. When at least 60% of users give a movie or TV show a rating of 3.5 or higher, a full popcorn bucket is displayed. If less than 60% of users give a movie or TV show a star rating of 3.5 or higher, a tipped over popcorn bucket is displayed. And they're adding the verified hot badge for the audience score, which is having a verified audience score of 90% or higher, having a minimum of 500 verified ratings for films in wide release, a minimum of 250 verified films for those in limited release, and re-releases will then also be eligible for the designation. So all of that seems relatively fine, right? It's all audience stuff. Who really cares? The part that they kind of slipped in at the end here is that they're also changing their tomato meter review thresholds. And I'm not sure why. So for tomato meter and popcorn meter threshold reviews going forward, they're going to be partnering with a third-party box office analysis company to calculate projected box office forecasts. And depending on how a film is projected to do in the box office will help to determine the breakpoints for number of reviews required in order for a film to be certified as what is it, stale or not good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So now, if you're a film with a projected domestic box office forecast of 120 million or greater, your film will not be marked as negative unless more than 350 critic reviews have been submitted for it, and 40 or more of them have met the negative criteria.
Movies are dead.
Sorry, 40% or more. I believe is how this works. But yeah, it's like on its surface, kind of whatever, and probably not all that different from how it is currently. But working through it, it seems like it's designed to have negative badges get given to large movies unless they are genuinely overwhelmingly regarded as bad.
Yeah.
So I'm curious here, if we go to the top box office and we click in on some negative movies, I'm curious to see how many reviews they've had. So these are the 5 films of the top 12 currently in theaters that are marked with a little tomato splatter. First one we have, It Ends With Us at a 58%. Total box office under 100 million, but only 165 reviews. So based on their criteria, it would not meet that because it would have to have at least 250 reviews.
Okay.
Despicable Me 4, another major film, only 162 reviews. So again, does not qualify. Trap, 55%, 209 reviews, does not qualify. Borderlands, 10%, 149 reviews, does not qualify. Though this one doing so poorly at the box office, it might slip its way down. Yeah, it just barely... No, sorry, it doesn't clear it. It needs 200 reviews, and it doesn't have that yet. So yeah, applying this to some like real world instances here,
Yeah.
based on what they're saying here. So they say, in other words, if a film is forecasted to earn 120 million or more during its entire theatrical run, according to third-party box office analysts, its tomato meter score will not populate until it has at least 40 reviews. So they're going to be putting their reviews up later. And they're doing the same thing for their popcorn meter, where big movies have to have at least 500 verified ratings before they put up the verified rating score.
What the fuck?
It just seems weird. Because you would imagine, right, that for large films that are being reviewed genuinely, people aren't like review bombing or something. If they are such major films that you are projecting, that should also directly correlate to large numbers of genuine reviews being posted for it. You would imagine.
Yeah.
I'm not keen on it.
No,
it's hard to not be cynical about stuff like this, but it seems like they're trying to delay the publication of negative review scores until as late as they possibly can.
Because they don't want to impact the box office weekends. They're getting complaints, dude.
Yeah. And it's hard to say how much of an impact this is actually going to have, right? If you have something like Borderlands, is it staying at, having the percent, but not actually having the sticker put on it, going to make that much of a change in the opening day that happens?
Yeah.
I guess this is something that we'll have to keep an eye on over time to see if it changes at all. But it feels like the kind of thing that they wouldn't have implemented unless they knew it was going to have an impact already, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't just do this out of the blue. But That's what I got.
Fun on a bun.
Anything else you want to hit real quick? There's been some funny Trump adjacent stuff that's been kind of, it is objectively funny, but unconfirmed,
Oh, the fucking possibility that Donald J. Trump will lose J.D. Vance as his running mate and dump him for Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be funny only because it breaks that rule that Donnie doesn't want a name with more letters on his card.
Well, no. So what they can do?
No, they're not going to
RFK Jr.
No, fuck you.
Still 5. No, so the reality is, I don't know if you've noticed this. I, being in the area that I'm at, tend not to see that many pro-Trump yard signs out. Or if I do, it's entirely in passing. But I was going over to meet up with my folks for a small, food truck rally thing. And ended up going through an area that is pretty overwhelmingly conservative, had a lot of Trump yard signs out. And I was very surprised to see that not a single one of them had Vance's name on it.
I thought those were just because they were recycling old ones, but I do notice
could
that trend.
Be,
yeah.
But it seems strange that no one has one.
I've seen only one out in the wild. And that's only because my mother's in Byron Center, and they had that Byron Center J.D. Vance rally not too long ago.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's the only case where I found one.
Interesting. So they do exist.
Very rare. It's like finding a shiny
Very
Pokemon.
rare. Yeah.
In that case, well, I've been the infamous Orion, and I've been a schmo.
And I'm Cairo, and I've been a schmo.
And Trump, if you're looking for a new running mate that doesn't just shoot bears and leave them in Central Park, hit me up.